This is the second video about premature babies, and this is the PDF sent by my friend's daughter about her own daughter. So it's about my school friend's granddaughter, and this is the baby. The name of her daughter is Akila, and her husband is Ashwin. And this is the story of her journey from 890 grams to 4.5 kilograms. Wow, congratulations. How do you move this thing? Okay. So I'm going to read some of it so that those of you who would like to hear the story can do so. So this is the first month of her life, and Vara is in the NICU. I only saw her 3 days after she was born and was heartbroken to see how tiny she was and how much life support she needed. Vara was born premature on 1st April at 28 weeks, 78 days before she was due to a serious complication I developed called preeclampsia. It was all terribly Bollywoodish. Placenta ruptured on an early Sunday morning. Blood just about everywhere in the house. Driver refused to pick up his phone. Our doctor had just gone out of station the previous day. We Google mapped our way to the hospital, and I underwent what the emergency doctor called the fastest surgery of her entire career. The baby didn't cry as they took her out. I lost consciousness. The doctor stepped out of the OT and told my husband and mom that she had managed to save me, but that she was sorry the baby didn't survive. There had been too much blood loss, 2.5 liters out of a total of 5 liters in the body, and the baby was starved of oxygen and her pulse had dropped too rapidly. She said if we had been 10 minutes late, I would have died too. Seconds later, she returned to say the baby had been resuscitated. A team of young nurses and doctors had continued efforts to save the baby, even as they pronounced her dead. We can never thank them enough for that. Our baby was tiny, just 960 grams, but she was alive. Talk about crazy April Fool's jokes, eh? So this was the story of Akila, and this is watching our baby fight. This is now they are in NICU. The NICU time was incredibly scary. It was overwhelming to see tiny babies not fully developed fight for life. Each tiny baby, the smallest was 560 grams, fought so hard, but many of them didn't survive, and the harsh reality that our baby may or may not make it was too much to bear. Though born at 960 grams, Vara fell to 890 grams as she fought to adjust to life outside. We had heard babies above 1 kilogram had a higher chance of survival in India, and we desperately hoped she'd start gaining weight and cross over to the right side of the statistic. After 2 weeks, she put on her first 10 grams to become 900 grams, and that's when I first held her. Till then, she had been subjected to only my singing. Now she had to suffer my cuddles. Oh, that's such a sweet story. I'm laughing because I want to cry. It was more than 2 weeks before I was permitted to hold my baby. I was insanely excited when they did let me. On the right, you see the father, Ashwin doing KMC, kangaroo mother care, even as she stayed hooked to all her lines. All that she battled. This is a quick overview of what our fighter went through. Non-medical parental version, that is. Lungs not fully developed and therefore put on a ventilator so she could breathe. Tube inserted through her mouth to the stomach to feed her. Line inserted directly in her navel to again feed her. 2 blood transfusions caused her because her body wasn't making enough blood by itself. 1 platelet transfusion because the count fell from 1.2 lakh to 28,000. So for those of you who don't know what a lakh is, it means 120,000 to 28,000. Number 6, blood in her stools diagnosed as first stage NEC. NEC is a bacterial infection that eats away the cells of the intestine and, if unchecked, makes a hole right through, infecting the entire bloodstream and causing death. Back on the ventilator because a premature baby's system is so fragile that when an infection strikes, other organs start failing. Number 8, recovers from the first infection, gets a second bacterial infection, listless, erratic pulse, can't breathe properly again. And then the photo on the left, is one of the wonderful nurses pouring out Vara's feed as she snoozes on me. Vara was first fed just 2 mils of milk every 2 hours because that's all her tummy could hold. A full-term baby can drink 60 mils to 100 mils every 2 hours. And then on the right, you have the photo of the large NICU whiteboard where nurses record the progress of babies. Vara was called Baby of Aquila. The bottom left table track number of deaths too. It's very, very scary for a parent to have to go through this. I'm just reading this story and I'm just crying at the thought of what they had to go through. So I can imagine what they had to face, And then they shift hospitals. And now this is the hospital that they shifted to that I'm going to make a plug for at the end, asking whoever's listening to this to make a donation. The onset of the second infection was when we decided to shift Vara to St. John's Hospital at Koramangala. The brilliant husband-wife doctor couple, Dr. Vagesh Iyer, professor in HOD endocrinology, and Dr. Suman Rao, professor in HOD neonatology, are Ashwin's relatives, and though Dr. Rao was in Geneva at the time on a World Health Organization deputation, she was monitoring Vara's progress minute by minute. Given that an infection is a life-or-death situation in such small babies, we were all relieved knowing that Dr. Suman and the stellar team at St. John's could now be directly involved to administer the required treatment. Vara was 1 kilogram now and more prepared to bear the ambulance ride across town. So here are the photographs, close-ups. Blurry pic I stole during the ambulance ride. I've probably never been more upset by Bangalore's roads and traffic. Vara is being held by the kind nurse to soften the blow of the bumps. And then this is the baby on the stretcher. And then the final one, Vara is quickly made comfortable and she's soon fast asleep in her new crib at the wonderful new NICU. So now this is the slow and steady climb up. The St. John's NICU was reassuring in all aspects, state-of-the-art facility handling 30 infants at a time. Brilliant team of doctors passionate about saving each baby that entered, and some fabulous new cutting-edge research from the medical college being brought into practice in the hospital. Vara soon started improving rapidly under the close attention and care. We were told it's safe to assume that the baby had no threat to life when all her lines came off. They are the main source of infection, and we were so excited when that day came. Many such little milestones meant the world to us. The first time she could drink milk from a paladai without her tube. The first time we were allowed to bathe her in water after 2.5 months. The first time we took her to our private room in the hospital without access to the 24/7 oxygen pulse monitor we were used to having around. Plus, of course, the regular baby firsts, like her first coo, smile, and gurgle. And this here, grannies are allowed at this wonderful NICU. And here at the bottom is my friend Indu with her kangaroo mother care kit. I guess they hold them right next to the skin so that they get the love and care. And the other thing is, did you know mother's milk is the single most life-saving thing for a preemie, and the doctors here truly explain and enforce that all extra milk is donated to a milk bank. Other NICU babies. So here we have that. And now here is little Vara, 1 to 5 months old. And then I would like to share, just give me a second. I want to get to the one about the donation. Okay, so there's this project called Project Rekindle, and this tells you how you can donate to this project to help these premature babies. So this is a donation to St. John's Medical College Hospital accounts. And here are all the details. So I'm just holding it for a few seconds. And if you're interested in making the donation, you can just pause the video and go ahead and make that donation. And if you do, you can write to my friend Akila to make sure that they can double check that your donation was received. And here is her. Okay, so I missed a few things. Here's the roly-poly today. And then this is another baby who was just left by parents. She was abandoned. And so we need money for, I guess they need money for babies like this. What is this? Okay, and so this is, again, another plea for a donation. The undergraduate students of St. John's Medical College, Bangalore, are raising funds at their annual fest this year for the underprivileged, low birth weight, premature babies of the St. John's NICU. And so my friend's granddaughter says, being an NICU survivor's mom and knowing how much these babies fight, I'll do just about anything for a previous cause. For now, I'm absolutely begging all my friends and family to donate even the teeniest of amounts, because it will add up for medicines, treatment, etc., and save a preemie's life. And I've already shown you Project Rekindle. And once you're done making the donation, you can also email Dr. Rao to check that your funds are going to one of her miraculous preemies. And the email is raosumanv@gmail.com, or you can ping my friend's daughter, Akila, and her email is akila.jayaraman@gmail.com. Okay, so, God, I don't know how to work this camera. Anyway, I hope that this story has been of some interest to you and has raised your awareness about premature babies, and I do hope that you will take the time and trouble to donate. When it's time for you to donate, or they said if in September, there was something they mentioned about that, so you can have a good read about that. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you will have it in your heart to give a little something to this cause. Thank you. How wonderful she looks now.